Well, chances are that you have seen this once or twice or maybe 100 times since it was released on Sunday, but a reminder of what to look forward to when the college football playoff kicks off 1 week from today with the battle for Indiana between Notre Dame and the Hoosiers. There's a lot of emptiness on that bracket, though, which is why we bring in our friend Smoke Dixon to fill it out for us. Smoke, let's go ahead and just start with the first round. Walk me through who you got winning.
Everyone wants to talk about upsets and chaos. Not so much. When you're prepared, playoff football goes to the ones that are ready to go. So let's start with the first game. Let's get to it. Let's go Texas and Clemson. I got Texas in this one, walking away with it. Clemson backdoored their way into this college football playoffs, being ranked number 12, winning the ACC Waste Management Division. But they've been so inconsistent, and Texas has been so on it. The only team that Texas got to worry about, we've seen, is Georgia. So I got Texas moving on to the second round. Now let's go to our next game, Emily. This is where you have your Tennessee and Ohio State matchup. And I know you're excited to see Nico go play in the cold, but I don't think Tennessee wants to see it. The running game and defense usually travels, but Ohio State has that too. And I just think this is a bad matchup for Tennessee. So I'm picking Ohio State in this game because the two-headed monster of Henderson and Quinton Junkins and Will Howard being that quarterback that's been a good game manager but been explosive. And that defense for Ohio State just don't match up really well for Tennessee playing fast. Let's get to the next game. SMU, Penn State. Wow, wow, wow. SMU got into this one. But it's a bad matchup for an air raid team going into the cold. And Penn State, defensively with Abdul Carter, and playing that good defense with Coach Allen, Drew Allar, the two-headed monster with the rushing attack of Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Don't think that's a good matchup for a team that's not physically ready to get bludgeoned up in the cold. Let's go Notre Dame and IU, the Battle of Indiana. The last time we saw IU play against a team that was close to Notre Dame's talent level was Ohio State. Notre Dame season's turned around since Riley Leonard's been playing really consistent football, and Jeremiah Love's been giving everybody the love of running the football at a high rate, scoring touchdowns. I got Notre Dame in this game. Seems to be close, but sorry, Curtis. Sorry, Coach Signetti. It's time to go home. That's our first round matchup. No upsets. We just kind of kept it real simple and real clean.
Yeah, you got all chalk there in the first round, but Smoke, what happens in the quarterfinals?
Well, let's get to it. We got Texas versus Arizona State. Oh, man, the one-headed monster of Cam Scatterbo. The leading receivers out. I'm taking Texas in this one, and I don't think this was going to be close. Coach Sark has that offense going. This is where you're going to see my man come in, Arch Manning. He's going to come in with that dual threat, and he's going to show you that he's the next one for next year. But they won and march on to the next round. Now we get to the next game. This is going to be a rematch. First time we watched Ohio State versus Oregon, Ohio State got challenged, and they didn't show up to the party. Oregon said, you know what? Even though your secondary is really good, we're going to throw this one deep consistently over your head, and we're going to get it. So I got Oregon winning in this matchup. Just don't match up well with them. Now let's go to our next game. Penn State versus Boise. It's a one-headed monster again. And Penn State matching up against Boise just doesn't fare well. Penn State's too physical, and everyone's going to find out how good Drew Allar is. He's one of the few quarterbacks that can make throws that some of us wake up and think about. They blow out Boise, and I got Penn State going on to the next round. Now we got a battle of the Titans. Two of the same. Two teams that want to play physical football, run the ball, establish the run game, and play physical defense. But Georgia is a more physical and a more talented team than Notre Dame. Notre Dame, you got to go home. Georgia moves on.
All right, you got your final four: Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and Georgia. Who is playing for the national championship?
Oh, Emily, it's a shocker. It's an SEC and Big Ten qualification matchup again, the Final Four. First game, Texas versus Oregon. Coach Sark, time to go to work. And I think he does go to work. And he's showing you all year there's only one team that I'm worried about, Georgia. But when they play against Oregon, they have too much on offense and defense, and they move on to the championship game. Then we got old school matchup, Penn State versus Georgia. Kirby has championship pedigree. We know what James Franklin has been like in close, marquee, tough matchup. Georgia wins this one, and we got the matchup for the third time, Texas versus Georgia. And it's a shocker again. Even though the SEC got teams that was left out, seems somewhat Smoke has an all-SEC championship game again. Round 3. Let's see what happens.
Round 3 between Texas and Georgia. We don't have to wait to see what happens because you still have to make a national championship prediction. So between Texas and Georgia, who you got, Smoke?
Well, you know what? I even brought out a helmet for you. It's real simple. I got Bow Wow Bulldogs taking this home. All right? It's just a bad matchup for Coach Sark. Kirby just has his number. They play more physical. They wake up and want to play physical. And what they do on the outside is they challenge those receivers, and they play with a heavy box. And in the screen game, Quinn Ewers just hasn't been part of it. Unless they can change up the way that they play, Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart's been doing it and dialing up on their defense. And the two-headed monster of my man Trevor Etienne and Nate Frazier show up again. I don't even care who the starting quarterback is. Georgia wakes up and wants to be more physical than Texas, and the physical, deeper team that's prepared win the championship. And again, championship pedigree says a lot. And Kirby's ready to do this again.
All right, you said it. You don't really care who the starting quarterback is going to be because obviously we're still waiting to find out the timeline of Carson Beck's injury. But according to Smoke Dixon, you don't need him to win a national championship. I do want to ask you, though, on the other side, because something you kind of just sprinkled in your analysis in an earlier round is that Arch Manning will be playing quarterback for Texas. Is he starting at quarterback for Texas or doing what he's been doing, which is kind of popping in and out?
I think he pops in and out, but I think he sprinkled more. Instead of getting only 10 to 15 reps, I think he's going to get more 20 to 30. All depending, especially in the red zone, because that's where you can add that mobile quarterback and create that advantage for the offense, and the defense got to get out the middle of the field and play man on man. And oh man, Arch Manning got it.
I think Texas fans would like to see a little bit more of their 5-star quarterback. Smoke Dixon, there you go. You don't even need to watch the games. We already know what's going to happen. Thank you so much for walking us through your bracket. All right.